All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Paige Howell, and I have here with me Kristen. She is from, if you're not following her, you definitely need to follow her. I have been following her. I kind of say I've been stalking her, but I actually am a follower for, I don't know, probably a little over 2 years back when I was with VIPKid. And but you need to follow her. She's Kristen's Classroom. Her information will be linked below. But she is big on Instagram. She is great with helping online teachers. And today we are actually going to be talking with her about how she balances a full-time brick and mortar teaching job with Outschool and still making over $2,500 a month working part-time. But before we get started, don't forget, I want you to follow Kristen. I want you to also subscribe to me. And I also want you to give us both a big thumbs up. And just know that we're here to help you guys be the best online teachers that you can be and to provide you some great inspiration and advice and tips to get you where you might want to go. So, Kristen, before we actually dive into I look at you sometimes on Instagram and all those other things. I'm like, how does she get done all she does in one day? I think I may have even messaged you one time that thing, like, I'm in awe of you. Just kind of back up a little bit. Tell us about you outside of Outschool.
Sure. Well, let's see here. Where do I even start? I graduated college, got my master's degree, and all I wanted right from school being out was to travel the world. I was a music major, and I said, Mom, all I want to do before I set roots is just to go travel, see the world, and get paid to perform. So I went to New York the summer after I finished my master's degree. I was set to graduate August 5th, and I went to New York for all of July, auditioned for everything, came back. I went to Bowling Green State University, and the day before I graduated, I got a call from the Carnival Cruise Line office in Miami, and they said, Miss Kristen Basor, we'd like to offer you a singing position on this ship. You're going to be out of Baltimore, Maryland. You're going to leave in 8 weeks. Would you like your contract? And I went, absolutely, I would love it. So got to go out and perform, learn so much about like music and performing and different cultures, all the things you didn't learn in your classroom. Yes. And then fast forward, I moved to Columbus, Ohio, where I currently am, and started setting roots. I got married. I got into teaching, and singing on a cruise ship and traveling the world is great. It has, its perks, its pros and cons. Teaching music to kindergarten through 8th grade students also has its pros and cons. So just everything between performing, and now I teach music, and I do their musical at school pre-pandemic. As I'm sure all teachers know, we aren't doing much in the performing arts right now. And after my first year of teaching, I kind of noticed a lot of teachers had side hustles. A lot of them would work at Target or Starbucks or Etsy. I had never even thought about having a store at all. I had maybe dabbled with paid teachers to get like extra resources with my teaching. And then somebody I was working with actually at a theater told me, Kristen, I don't wait tables anymore. I actually teach ESL after rehearsal. I'll teach from like 11:30 to 2 a.m., sleep until our next, we were doing professional theater. And that's how I found online teaching. And then from ESL now to Outschool, and here we are.
Here we are.
That's the quick Cliff Notes version of all of that.
So you never really had any intentions of becoming a teacher?
No, going to school for music, it was always like, you get your degree and your certifications. But I had thought, you know what, I'm going to just wait, and maybe someday I'll have a studio of music students that want to take like private lessons. And I did until I wanted to buy my first house, and the bank went, oh, what's your job? And I told them, and they went, oh, so not like a normal brick and mortar taxable every 2-week paycheck job. So I started getting a job in corporate America to buy my home. And a year after that, one of my friends called and said, hey, I'm actually transferring schools. Would you like my job? I know you have international experience. You have your master's degree. You're teaching all these kids. And my students that I was teaching privately, they were getting into like their top colleges, and we would actually sometimes do Zoom lessons before it was cool to be on Zoom. So it kind of did fall in my lap several years ago. I had subbed in between performance gigs, but I never thought, oh yeah, I'm going to be a teacher full time in brick and mortar school. This is going to be me. But here we are.
And teaching little. So you teach kindergarten up through, so are you in a private school then? That
I am.
goes, K
I'm
through 8 or something.
Yep, I'm a private school. We do K-8. We used to have a band and a choir position, and then we would share general music and like play for the masses, and we would play for the musicals and everything. And then through cuts that the school had to make, they did not continue the band position. They just said, hey, we're going to have Kristen do everything. She's going to do band. She's going to do choir. She's going to do general music. She's going to do everything, all of it. And that was quite a challenge to take on. I had not played clarinet, trumpet, trombone in years. I had vlogged that on my YouTube channel, like me struggling to learn these while my husband, who played trombone in high school, is like behind me doing a great job. But that's what we're doing. But now in the pandemic, everything is general music. We're doing all our specials, our CART teaching. So my music room right now is a kindergarten classroom because we added additional teachers to the staff. So we have more classes with less students in each. So I CART to 30 rooms every single week. So definitely get my steps. If anybody has any Fitbit step challenges, please write me somewhere. I will definitely challenge you in the Fitbit steps.
Oh my goodness. So you don't even have your own classroom.
No, we all share like a lounge that we can treat where we can do our lesson planning in our one plan period a day. But no, I do not have a classroom this year.
And so when is your last day?
My last day is June 3rd this year. So just under 7 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. What teacher is not counting down?
Oh no, I am. I am absolutely. I think the kids are too. I think the kids have realized like the teachers were just as nervous to go to school. I don't think we mentioned this. My district didn't do any remote this year. We were in person 5 days a week from August 28th till now. Yep. So numbers were going everywhere. Illness, sickness, kids in quarantine, full classes in quarantine. And those cases, if a whole kindergarten class was out, I would just go set up my Zoom in their classroom and they had the option to watch. So it was quite an experience of, am I teaching this class today? Is it in person or is it on Zoom? Who knows?
It's been double work for teachers. I know
that.
I'm not in the classroom any longer either, but my friends that are taxed, that's for sure. If you're doing both, they're definitely taxed in doing that. So do you work with VIPKid at all anymore?
I help a couple referrals here and there, and I have not taught an actual class since the weekend of Thanksgiving 2020. I had actually done my first experiment with camps with Outschool, and I said, okay, if you're going to do camps, something has to go. Like you can't balance all these things. It's not going to happen. So I taught my last class with VIPKid. Still am employed with them. But
you still have your contract.
I do. I still have my contract. And every once in a while, somebody will write me and say, I used your link. Can you help me? And I, help them figure out their application. And usually by then they'll see a video on my YouTube channel and go, wait, there's something else. I did a price comparison video, and that seemed to like steer people in the other direction. So
I think a lot of VIPKid teachers did, especially people that are in the world of education, have those different things, have made a big switch. And even teaching, the thing that I did love about teaching with VIPKid was actually doing it in the mornings and being done. For me, when I moved to Colorado, I just decided that I'm too old to get up that early anymore.
What time were you waking up? Oh, what times were you Central Time?
So I'm Mountain Time. So I would have gone from Eastern Time, typically starting around 5:30 with VIPKid to starting at 3:30. And I said, you know what? I've got to find something different. And same thing for me. However, I do teach some early morning classes with Outschool. I just don't have to get up as early. I can get up at like 6. So instead of 3:30. And that's much better.
Oh, yes.
Definitely for me. So tell us a little bit about then, you kind of said why Outschool a little bit, but go a little bit more. Why Outschool?
It was a lot easier for me to set auditions. Pre-pandemic, I was doing VIPKid. I think it was the summer of 2018. I auditioned for Annie, and
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in school. It was summertime, and I was able to like teach from 7 to 10 a.m. back when you could teach in Eastern time till 10 a.m.
I loved that. I loved
Oh,
that.
it was so good. And I remember sitting in the dressing room and I told all my actor friends, I'm like, why are you guys waiting tables? Like, you could teach online. Like, I teach and made my car payment off like in my pajamas. And they all think, oh, it's an MLM or she's selling Avon or whatever. This girl's crazy. Like, they all thought we were insane. But then I went to the Journey conference for VIPKid teachers and I rode in a car with fellow teachers in this area. And I just thought, there has to be a place where you can do something similar to this, but make your own hours. Like, come on. It was 2019 and I was like, there has to be a way. And I had remembered I'd gotten an email from Outschool asking if I was interested in trying classes, but it was the month I was getting married, October 2019. I keep forgetting when I got married because it was like 4 months before the world ended. But I remember being in quarantine and thinking, okay, you know what? We're home every day anyway. Let's just try it. Let's just go apply. And then I think it was like spring of 2020, I applied. I made one class. I did not know when to schedule it. So it was a one-time class and I scheduled it for 11 a.m., 1 p.m., and 4 p.m. just to see what times could they be because I'm not waking up at 6 a.m. to teach this. And I just started playing with times and I tried different classes and then I tried different age groups because I learned kindergarten through second grade on Zoom is not my strong point. I like the older kids on camera. That just is my personality. My taste works better. Do you handle the little ones on Zoom?
To be honest with you, it's funny. I was just talking with my sister earlier today, and I have one class that I do teach some more of this younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, well, if it does really well, why don't you teach more? I go, because it's exhausting.
Oh, yes.
And not that I don't love them, I do, but if I can, I am definitely more middle, upper elementary is definitely more what I love the most. If I get to choose what I want to teach, that's what I'm going to teach too.
Mm-hmm. That's great. I think that's great that we have that option too. We can say, hey, I just want to teach this, this is the subject and these are the age groups. I had talked to a couple Outschool teachers and I was recommending them to go through their classes, find how to see like what families are sharing and giving hearts to, and then trying to offer those classes to other age groups. If it's something that's applicable for that age.
Yes, absolutely. And I've said the same thing. You may start out here, but those families also have siblings that may want to jump on board, and it's a great way to kind of funnel out your classes. But it also, again, like you just said, it needs to be something that you enjoy teaching. I mean, the age group that you want to teach, because other than that, then you're going to not want to show up.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And I totally agree that it is exhausting. Like, I think the most Outschool I've ever taught in a row was, I want to say, like 5 hours. And I give myself the 5-minute breaks because me not knowing any different when I made my first classes, I made them modeled kind of after like the VIPKid outline of 25 minutes.
Yeah, me too.
And then later I was like, okay, this class should be 45 and this class should be multi-day. And I was just trying to spread it out. And if it's younger kids, it's less time so I don't lose their attention. It was just all trial and error. And I think the online community is great, but we also show like the finished product. We show, here are my schedules and here's my really nice salary I'm bringing in on top of my brick and mortar. I'm trying now to like pivot and show, here's all the time I spent lesson planning. Here's all the time I spent being tired and still like meal prepping to go to school and sitting with, you can't see my desk, I have notebooks upon dry erase and everything here, like what needs to be set up for summer camp. So I'm trying to show more of the behind the scenes and less of the, here's all the money I brought in and here's how easy it is. Because I don't want to have that like illusion that you just sign up and get in and everything's great.
Yeah, so everything doesn't always come with a nice, beautiful bow on top of it. There is a lot of work that goes into. So even when I look at Kristen and I think she's amazing and she has it all together, she might not always have it all together.
Oh no. No.
No, I decided you need to I need a video from you, like it's how you run your day, really. Like how do you get up and just your whole outline of your day? Because I'm like, that's what I need to see how she does that.
Check the channel on Tuesday.
Okay, good.
This Tuesday, April 20th, I have it's literally a vlog that is a week in my life. And it is the week I spent setting up summer courses, whether it was like a camp, how I decided what classes were going to continue, which spoiler, if you're watching, I just went through my past. I went into Outschool, I went to my teacher portal and I searched past classes and I could go back all the way to my first day and I could see, okay, Class A sold out most of the times I taught it at 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to do it again at 2 p.m. Eastern. Or other classes never sold. So I'm going to try, other age groups. It was a lot of trial and error and just experimenting with how performances went in the past. That vlog is like 20 minutes long. So I'm going to put timestamps in it. So if people don't want to see like the actual writing and putting things together, which is sped up, timestamps I think will be the way to go. But yes, I have that coming for you because I get that question a lot is, how do you do this?
Well, and what I do, Kristen, is I put a lot of your videos on, I do a lot of listening while I'm walking. So I don't always get to see them, but I hear them and then I'll look if I need to. That's how I learn a lot from you as well, doing that.
Oh, so. That's great. So, someday someone's going to have a podcast and I'm going to be like, I want to come on your podcast.
I think you'd be a good podcaster, actually.
I tell my husband to be I don't know anything about it. The only thing I have that looks like a podcast, or I'll move my camera so you can see. I inherited I don't know if you can see this. I inherited my husband's voiceover microphone. So it's actually attached to this desk. I can move it up and down. That's the only thing I have that makes, because I do voiceover work sometimes when I get gigs. But that's the closest I come to podcasting. But if I knew anything about it, I would love to try it. I'm going to just convince my husband to do it so we can have an adventure.
Now, speaking of your husband just a little bit, does he teach on Outschool at all?
He doesn't, but I think he should. My husband works now at a tech startup, but before, when we first met, he was working at a children's theater. He was their technical director. He built the sets. He made sure that theater ran. So he's got all this great expertise, and you don't see many classes for like the people who build the sets for high school theater or just the arts in general. And I tell him all the time that he should someday. Someday he'll do the Outschool and he'll run the podcast. You heard it here first.
Okay, that'll be good. That'll be really good. So one of the things that you've said over and over again, and I'm so thankful that you said it, is for me as well, it has been a lot of trial and error. So for anybody that's watching, and I love that Kristen said she's going to be doing more videos that are not the just exact finished product, but what went in to get to that finished product, because it does take, I spent hours. I wish I would have recorded how long it took me to schedule my summer classes, and looking at my vacations and when I thought this class would work and when, that kind of thing too. So I did spend a lot of time trying to get that to work out. And it sounds like you did as well.
Yes.
So
there's a lot of challenges I don't think we all talk about, which are things like how much time goes in behind the scenes, which does deter a lot of people. They say, oh, I want to teach on Outschool, but I don't want to be lesson planning every day. So I always say, well, if that's the case, just make a one-time class. Make it once and lesson plan it once. But I think the hardest things about Outschool are figuring out what schedule works for you, not burning out, taking the time to work on your product, and then the one that every teacher fears, and I do too, is the parent feedback. Because you never know. Like I got my first 1-star review on Monday, and it didn't have any explanation. I went back in and I watched the class, and I noticed the girl whose mother had left the comment was having issues logging in, and 5 minutes in the class, I think her Zoom just shut off. And I think her mom, I don't know if she knew she was giving me this 1-star or she was doing it. I had no idea. And I thought, oh my gosh, this class isn't going to book anymore. It's got a 1-star. And of course it sits on your profile. If that's ever happened to anyone, you've ever freaked out, it was fine. That class stayed booked. I was pleased, but there's that moment where it hits you like, it's like being an Amazon seller. You have no idea what the reviews are going to be. And I've never had to like refute or argue a case. Have you had to argue anything? Have you ever had to argue
I got a 2-star, and basically it ended up the parent was trying to give Outschool a 2-star, not me the 2-star. It did. I mean, I don't know what they say. It was still there, but it supposedly didn't go into the averages of my stars or whatever. But I'm like you. If I get something, I just try and look and learn from it. But it is at first you're like, wait a minute, what did I do?
Oh yeah, it hits you really hard. And when I first started teaching on Outschool, I was like, listen, I'm an actor and I get told no every single day, and I get told you're too tall, you're too short, you're too big, you're too small, whatever. When you get something from a parent, when you're trying to like teach their kids, especially something that you have your degrees in and your experience in, you just want to be like, wait, what can, and especially when they don't give you a reason. Those are the ones that I think get under my skin at least a little bit. Just one time I had someone leave 1 star, and then she realized, she goes, I didn't mean to do that. I don't know how that happened. And I don't know what parents see after class. I know they get an email like, would you like to leave a rating? I don't know if the mom had been new to this. I shouldn't say mom, because I don't know if it was mom or dad, but the parent left one and I guess didn't mean to, and they fixed it for me. That one got fixed. The other one did not, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. And I actually kind of learned early on when my kids were younger, I was the leader of a mom's group, and there was probably 120 women in this group. And you can imagine that you can't please everybody. So I learned really early that, you know what, I just have to do what I can do and move forward from that. I will say that if you don't know a lot about what the parent sees, because you don't have children that are on the platform, I do not either. I did a great interview with Rebecca. I saw her actually in here just a minute ago, and she's an Outschool parent and an Outschool teacher. So she shared with me a lot of the things that what parents see, but things that also help an Outschool teacher. One of the things that she shared with me that really hit me, Kristen, was when you actually list or you actually request a class, that you should go ahead and schedule that class, because 24 hours after that class is approved, the email goes out to all of your likes. And if they get an email and they don't have anywhere to sign up, you may have lost that parent because they're busy.
Gotcha. So if I go to request a class and it gets approved, I should put times immediately.
Immediately.
Okay.
Yes. And you can actually put them in before it's even approved. And she taught me that too. So it's eventually probably going to get approved. So then you can go in, and as soon as the parent gets that email, they can sign their kid up instead of going, well, she doesn't have anything now. And then you have to hope she's going to remember, or dad's going to remember to go back and do it. So I thought that was a great tip for me.
When a teacher opens up schedules, like for example, I now have my entire summer schedule. That was a question I think you have in your chat.
I saw that. Yes.
So yes, I do. Paige, do you have all your summer stuff?
I actually did. As of this weekend, it is all ready.
So when I made some of my classes available, did parents that maybe had given the hearts or favorite of that class, do they get an email like, hey, Teacher Kristen has, new options open? Wow, those are a lot of messages, because that's a lot.
And so I know Rebecca's probably on here too. She says she loves showing behind the scenes what the parent sees, and I love that too, Rebecca. We might have to do another thing with that.
That would be great.
I guess I'm gonna ask you this, Rebecca, while you're in the chat there. How many emails do you get a day from Outschool as an Outschool parent? So they only get an email for a new class. So they don't get an email if it's a new time or section.
So if I had an existing class from last year and I made a session available, like an ongoing course in June, do parents see like Kristen opened a session of that class that you're following in June? I think only when it's a new class. So I'm okay.
If they like your class,
if they give you
get new sections.
Okay, that I thought was the case. You were asking about email notifications. there's one email notification I actually turned off because I thought it was so much better for like my mental health. And that is the email notification we get as teachers when parents leave reviews. Because I would be all ready to teach classes. I was traveling last summer. I'd have everything set up and I'd get a ping on my phone and it'd be like, you have a parent review. Do you want to view it now? And I'd be getting ready for these classes. In the back of my head, I'd be like, I want to see it. But if it's not good, I don't want to see something that's going to upset me because I want to be on for these kids. So I just turned that notification off. I said, that is not helpful to me. I can check at the end of the day. So I have this rule that I don't actually check for reviews at all under any circumstances till I'm done teaching for the day, just because I know that's
right.
I guess the word they use is a trigger, because I will think about it the whole time and I just want to be focused for them. Oh, Rebecca says we were correct.
Okay, good. Yay, we got it right. It's funny you say that too about the whole thing. One of the classes I do teach for older kids, I teach study skills, and I've taught it for years, and I love it because it is something that changed for me from high school going to college. But I tell them the same thing. I go, this cannot be anywhere in your study area because what happens, and they're like, yeah. And I said, even if you have it turned on vibrate, if you get that text, you are immediately thinking in your head now, who was it? What do they want? What do they, and you go completely off task. So I can, that makes a lot of sense to me with the parent reviews. Do you get a lot of parent reviews? We've been talking about that too.
I do. But right now, teaching during the school year, 99% of my classes are ongoing. And parents, and Rebecca, tell me if this is the same for you. Parents tell me they do not get an email asking to review until the class is over. And a lot of my ongoings have been going on since September. So unless a child unenrolls, I don't actually know if they see the email about a review. I only see reviews right now if it's a one-time class or a multi-day class.
Yeah.
I'm expecting, if I'm going to get a big avalanche of reviews, it'll probably come in June, where, fingers crossed, I get to actually go on my honeymoon 18 months late. Like, we're hoping, but I would obviously end my spring ongoing classes. We're going to take 2 weeks in June just to kind of finish the school year, see if we're allowed to go to Hawaii, if the travel ban has been let up. If not, we're going to road trip to the Grand Canyon. So if you're following me on Instagram, you are either going to see Hawaii or the Grand Canyon. One of the two.
One of the two. Now, Rebecca's given us some more advice here. So you can send a classroom message in your current classes that you're promoting a summer class. Now, I do that. So I have been doing that. I put a link for after class. I have been saying, hey, I've got my summer classes up. This is something you may be interested in. And the big thing I learned from Rebecca there too is to provide them the link so that they can go right there. And definitely hit that. The easier we can make it for everybody to sign up for a class, then yes. Anastasia said, if they unsubscribe, they will not get an email, only if they withdraw. Okay.
Paige, this is so cool. There's a woman named Angela who said they signed their daughter up for one of my first classes last summer, but they don't get emails from me about classes. I hope that's like my very first class that I taught, because I remember writing down everyone's name and being like, thank you all for coming. I was so excited. I was like, I've never taught 3 people at the same time. This is so great.
Oh, no, that's awesome. So she says, I still don't get emails about your classes now. So Angela, it would be interesting to do kind of a little thing to see if you like her, go in there and like her classes and like her profile now and see if that changes anything.
Angela, I'm going to put the link to my teacher profile in the chat.
That'd be great.
Yeah, what Paige is talking about. If you click the link and you're logged in, under my picture, it'll say follow. And if you click it, it has like a little heart. Am I saying this right? You guys can all correct me here.
No, you're saying it. You're definitely saying it right. And Anastasia, I call her Anna. But anyway, I teach ongoing. I really get reviews for that class. Yes. And actually, I think I was wondering about this, and maybe y'all can help me on here too. So the number of students that I have completing one class, I know is completely wrong. Because I'm like, I have taught but I think it's
Yes.
because, again, it's the ongoing class.
I can confirm this. There was a week where my Outschool pay was 6 days late for 7 classes. So I was on that support chat all the time. And they were so kind. They were so nice. And I asked them, I said, hey, I teach 6 classes a week. I teach 90 minutes on Thursday and 90 minutes on Friday right now during the school year. So if you want to know what I teach, it's 3 hours a week. And I asked them, I said, hey, I teach 6 classes a week, but my completed classes don't go up. And they said, ma'am, you could teach 52 weeks a year, a full year. And if it's an ongoing class, it will show up as 1 completed class when you're done.
Oh,
Didn't know that. So if you teach a lot of ongoing classes, it might not reflect on your profile because an ongoing class is not a completed class until you stop that class. So.
And I wonder from a parent perspective, do they like to see that you've completed that class so many times? Or, if you're looking for new classes, how does that go? Is there besides with your ongoing class, Kristen, I asked this because I know for myself, I learned kind of the hard way over Christmas. I stopped a lot of my ongoing classes. And then in January picked back up, and it took a little bit of time to build them back up instead of just closing those for that 2 weeks.
I made that mistake when I started school as well. I stopped all of mine, which killed me. Not killed me, but I had sold out of 8 of my 10 ongoing classes last summer. And I just thought, oh, I'm busy with school. I'm just going to shut them down. If I could go back and change it, I would have just put a pause, messaged the classes and told them. I reopened them at Thanksgiving and I had about half enrollment 3 weeks later. It wasn't until like the new year it was back. So that was like a 2.5 month period to regrow with new kids, because some parents, they'll find you and maybe they don't know how to go back and locate you. There's so many teachers, maybe they don't remember or they don't know how to go back and look in the past. I'm not really sure how the portal looks, but yes, it did take a very long time to rebuild.
So you said, and this goes back to one of the things that we were talking about, you teach 3 hours a week right now.
Yes.
Okay. So 3 hours. So, and those 3 hours are 6 classes. Is that correct?
Yep. I have 3 30-minute classes on Thursday after school and 3 30-minute classes on Friday. And they are all ongoing classes, all of different niches and things that I knew did well last year before the school year started, that I knew would do well during these time slots. Yes.
Awesome. And so just teaching the 3 hours a week for our 6 classes, and you are still making $2,500 basically a month.
It is worth noting there is 1 week that I will do one camp that did really well at Christmas and New Year, and I made it be the second week of every month. So I actually just completed it. It was a 5-day class. 10 learners are allowed to be in it. It sells out a lot. And that's actually my first time realizing, oh my gosh, multi-day camps are awesome. This is great. But yes, those six classes allow me, I'm trying to think here and doing quick math. They have remained sold out. For me, that is between 7 to 10 kids, depending on the class. And that is pre-tax money. So actually, it's fine because I talk about this on my channel. Is it okay if I pull up on my screen?
Yep, absolutely.
So today is April 18th, Sunday. We still have 1 Sunday payday to go. My April numbers right now, I have taught 87 learners for 15 hours and have made $2,200. So I'll cap somewhere between $2,700 and $2,800 by the end of this month, because I have not gotten paid for that camp yet. And we still have 1 more Sunday payday to go. So yes, very, very lucky. I always have to say that.
What other job can you do and get that? I mean, that's amazing. That's just amazing.
I've been trying to get my cruise ship friends. I know we talked about how I did cruise ships after college. A lot of my friends, because the pandemic, are in this, limbo. They don't know if they should go get like a permanent job. A lot of them are working like retail and car dealerships, and they are getting into like MLMs and things. And I sit back here and say, hey, I watched you dancing on the ships. I watched you do magic. There's a place you could do this. using, your electronics and everything I know you millennials know how to use. Like, so I'm trying to help other people get in, because I don't see more teachers as competition for me, because I don't think there's any two teachers that are identical ever. I don't think that's a thing. Like VIPKid, I thought we were more treated as like, we're all teachers of English. Yes. We're all, I don't want to say dime a dozen, because I think that'd be the worst thing to ever call a teacher. But in the eyes of that kind of a company, we all serve the same purpose. But on Outschool, somebody could be teaching home ec skills, which are so needed because they do not teach those in school. I don't know if you get these questions. I get so many people asking me, what should I teach? I want to teach so bad. What do I teach? And I just say, if you had a group of kids at your house and they said I was bored, or they were bored, what would you teach them? What would you do with them? Or what expertise do you have? Not even expertise. What are you good at? I've seen people sell out classes playing Roblox, or having like ways to beat your fort. I don't play any of these games, so please excuse me, parents. I'm so sorry. This is why you don't see this on my Outschool class offerings. But like, just expertise. I've seen people share like how to have confidence in middle school classes, if they're a counselor who's out of school or out of work. Just anything that you can really share to make the world a better place is what I say. And I know you follow my YouTube, and I have like I have a guide that just helps people figure out what's individual for them, because there's no guide I can hand someone that says, here's what you should teach, Paige, or here's what you should teach, Rebecca. It's just, what are you good at, and how can it help someone else?
And have you listed any classes that you have said, I don't like teaching this, and taking them down? Yes, me too.
I sure did. I did circle time music like I do with my kindergartners. One of my first classes here on that platform was morning circle time music, because I have my guitar and my piano, and I know all the songs. And boy, that did not work out for me. Like, the kids were great, but you'd have somebody that didn't want to be on the camera or cried, and it's really hard to keep a kid captivated when you are playing an instrument and they're so young. Applause to anyone watching this that can do that. Like, I applaud you every day. Oh, but yes, I have definitely had some classes that are archived. I think archived means you can't find them, right?
Mine too, yes.
When are they going to make it so we can just delete them and forget that we made circle time music for kindergarten?
Well, I had one that we made, because I love animals, and a lot of my one of my best classes is about learning geography through animals around the world. And so we were making Lego animals, and parents would show up to class. The kid wouldn't even have any Legos. The kids would start crying because they did. And I have two boys. I mean, I have tubs of Legos, and I loved building with them. And then I was like, I can't do this. This is not for me. So I have a few archived too. Ron is actually saying he's new. Do you have any suggestions? Good job. Yay. He just got his first class listed.
Congratulations. Okay.
Any suggestions on getting students?
All right. My suggestions, or do you want to go first, Paige? Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
You go first. Go ahead.
All right. Suggestion number 1, offer it as many times as you can, and then let a week go by and schedule it as often as you can. And when the week's over, go back and look and see, did you have more kids at a certain time or on a certain day? I always recommend asking the kids at the end of the class, are there any other classes you would like to see? And then always writing in the class page, thank you for coming, because parents can see that as well. So honestly, just open communication, good description boxes. Please make sure Ron, I know this isn't you, but I get this question. Kristen, can I list a class before I have any of the slides or information ready? And I always say no, because I always think, what if a parent asks and wants to see your curriculum and you don't have it ready? So ways to get more people in your class, just good descriptions, lots of time offered, so if they can't make it on Monday, you've got one on Tuesday, and then just asking them what they liked or what they would like to see in the future.
Yeah, I agree with Kristen. And the other thing I try and teach a lot of teachers, I actually have a teaching and a business background, so I'm in a marketing. So it's, you actually, Ron, do have to put yourself out there a little bit too. I, on my own personal social media, I share my classes. I ask people to share my classes. If you have young kids, you think somebody else, please share. on my own social media. And again, that internal marketing. So once you get the students in there, sharing with them, asking them, like Kristen said, what other classes might you be interested in? My little welcome blurb on all my classes says, these Outschool classes are more fun with friends. So if you have a friend, don't
Aw.
forget that they can take their first class for free if they have never taken an Outschool class before. So I kind of just put that in their head. Great, wouldn't it be great? And especially when we were thick in the pandemic and kids, that was the only way they were seeing each other was on the Zoom. I did have more people taking me up on that. They would say, oh yeah, great. You may also, Ron, I know some people have mixed feelings on this. You may, in the beginning, offer some discounts for your classes to get, even if you, to your realm or your social media realm, just to get some classes under your belt, get some of those reviews, because it does start to snowball after you get going. It does start to move.
And once you get people following you, when you make maybe an extension class, more people will want to take it because they're following you and they think, oh yeah, I took that first class with Ron. We have a question that said, not a question, a comment. May I read it?
Yes, absolutely.
It's your show, so I always want to ask.
Oh, right ahead.
Stephanie wrote, my keyboarding class for ages 5 through 9 bombed live, but I turned it into Flex and get rave reviews. No, that's great.
That is awesome. So you're able to move. I was going to ask you, Kristen, do you have Flex classes?
I do. I took a couple of my most popular one-time and ongoing classes, and I made options that were Flex. And in the description, it says, this is the identical class of class A, but a Flex option. And then in the live class, I say, if your child would feel more comfortable taking this in a Flex option, here is the link to it. So it has cross traffic to it. But yes, I started doing Flex when we mentioned the pandemic, as so many know. A lot of classes I was offering were prepping high schoolers for college because that was an opportunity they were not getting this year. They were being robbed of their senior year. And I always think, what can you offer people right now?
Auditions, for college auditions, yes.
So I did group audition classes where the kids would come to the class just to sing and prepare their songs and to perform them in front of anybody, because they're going to perform on a camera for their college. But a lot of parents would write to me and say, my child's really nervous. Can we do this in Flex where we take your Flex class and you watch it and you either write us back in text, or you can, I would film myself and make it a little more personal for them and give them that feedback. Because some kids want to perform and be with other people. They love that atmosphere. And others are just I would appreciate it. And in my Flex classes, I let them have the option. They can send their links just to me, or they can send their links to the class and let other people watch. It might not be live, but others can watch and we can leave feedback and just have a good conversation going. But yes, I have done Flex classes here and there. I'm more of a live person. I would love to do more, but maybe when summer comes around,
after the honeymoon, right?
That is right.
So one of the questions that I see, and Kristen and I chatted just a little bit before we went live, is the question people say, oh, can I jump all in? Can I dive into this? Can I make a full-time income with this? And I told her, I said, that's, to me, that's such a personal decision. And she said she gets it a lot, because if she's making this kind of money teaching just a few hours a week, why wouldn't she jump all in? So what was your response there, Kristen?
Oh, so I got that question a lot, like you said, and I had a full response on Instagram, and I said my top 3 reasons were, it was 2020 and I didn't know it was going to happen. If 2020 taught us anything, it's that job security is a lie, because we saw so many people lose their jobs. And I had only been without school for 4 to 6 months at that time. And I wasn't sure, is this just a stint from the pandemic? Could I quit my full-time job and then have nothing in 3 months? And it just seemed like a gamble. But bigger than both of those, my husband and I are shopping for a house. Please think good thoughts, because it is literally the worst time to shop for houses. And if you did not know this already, if you are looking to purchase anything that involves a bank or a loan or a credit check or a background check, you need 3 years of taxable documents. And if I were to walk away from my full-time job, I would go try to get a loan for a mortgage, and they would say, oh, so where are you making money now? The internet. Oh, do you have any tax forms? No. So we decided it would just be best right now to just stay where we are. And I think it was the best choice. And I also didn't want to leave my kids. I teach K-8 right now, and seeing 5-year-olds coming in with masks and not knowing what was going on, crying for their mom, coming in from 6 months of quarantine into a brand new place with all like new people in masks. Sad to say this, if you walked me into my kindergarten class and they did not have masks on, I could not tell you who they are unless they have like a distinct look to them. Yeah. But all the boys in private school have like the nice haircuts, and the girls always look so adorable
with their big bows.
Oh, or no, cat ears are in now. Oh. Now it's cat ears. I actually will sometimes get ideas from my middle schoolers. Like if they ask me questions about like theater or music or something I already have an Outschool class on, and they know something more like up to date, I'll be like, what's up with that? Can you tell me at recess duty? And they'll be like, okay, Miss Besor, I'll tell you. So sometimes like the little ones are cute and great, and then I just try to keep rapport with my older kids. But yeah, biggest reasons, mortgage hopefully coming. We were approved for one, but to finish this whole process. And I just didn't want to leave my kids. We had already lost, I want to say 4 or 5 teachers in my district, which was understandable. Some were expecting, and some didn't want to come back to school 5 days a week with no hope of going remote at any time. We signed the contract saying that we understand that we are going in unless the governor made us here in Ohio go remote. We were staying face-to-face, and we have. But like you said, I do think it is a gamble. I get a lot of people that will ask for one-on-one time with me, and will sit like we are right now, Paige, and their first question, it'll go, hi, Kristen, so nice to meet you. Love your YouTube channels. How can I quit my job? That's the question. And I feel like a counselor. Yeah. I always just think, well, this is a very loaded question. You're asking someone that you watch on the internet who does not know your history. I don't know your family, your financial situation, all the things that are pertinent to you. So I always just say, one step at a time. And a lot of them are teachers. A lot of them are, I've been in this job for 12 years. I don't want to wait how many more years they have till retirement. I want out now. The one that always kills me is, what do I have to do? Because there's no clear cut answer to that. I don't know your expertise. I don't know your teaching style. I don't know the age that you want. So it's just a very loaded question. And then the other responsible adult questions like, where's your health insurance coming from? Are you already investing for retirement? Do you know how to pay your own taxes? Which we talked about before our chat here. And I posted on Instagram that I had filed my taxes, and I got so many DMs going, where's your video on that? Can you tell me how to do that? And I can't make a video on taxes because I believe everybody is their own cut and dry, depending on your income, your state, your situation. And plus that's like information you need from a professional, right?
I think so. I think that what you shared was really helpful. And if this was on her Instagram that I saw, what she posted is that if you are looking to buy a home or get a loan at some time, you do need to be filing quarterly taxes. You do need to be filing quarterly taxes if you're making a certain amount of money as well, unless you want to take a big hit a little bit later.
It's $1,000 for the state of Ohio. Every state is different. So like, don't just think, oh, I heard Kristen say $1,000. It really all depends on your situation. And if you want to do it as your full-time job, you're going to become best friends with that lovely company called the IRS.
Yes.
It's great. I honestly thought this year, and you can all laugh at me, those people that work for themselves, I thought we had to actually file taxes 4 times a year. And my accountant was like, no, you're making payments, dear. You're not actually. I'm like, do I get a tax return now? After my quarter 1, she's like, no, you make the payments, and then next April, you hope
you get some of it back.
you hope so. And if you do Outschool or anything full time, for anybody that wants to know, you can write things off like your computer, your internet. If your home office takes a quarter of your home and you pay a mortgage, a quarter of your mortgage can be written off. Please, please, please hire a professional. Please do not say, I'm doing this because Kristen on the internet said I could. But these are things that I know from my accountant, because I am going to be paying quarterly payments now. I have to now that, Outschool, I don't know if we mentioned this before, Outschool will at this rate exceed my full-time teaching job. So I have to, or else I will get double penalized. One for not filing, and then not filing, and it would technically be my main source of income because it's my highest here in my state, at least.
Yeah, and I think that's, what Kristen said there is really important. I try and tell people, they ask me tax questions, I can say, I can tell you what I do, but you need to know what, you need to make sure. We've had to use an accountant for years because I own my own business for a long time. So I do what he tells me I can do, and that's what I go from. So it is worth it to look into some of those. But if you are starting to increase your Outschool dollars, or you're already there, you really do need to look into the possibility of paying the quarterly taxes.
And Outschool makes it really easy. On your teacher stats page, you can see per month. So when I paid Q1, I just went on to Outschool and I wrote down January, February, March, added it together, took 30% of it. I held 30%. My accountant told me for my situation to pay 20 to the IRS, hold that 10, so that when I go to file, if I still owe, I've got that blanket there, because this is my first year doing it. So I don't know what's going to happen. And so she just said, have that extra 10%. But I'm glad that we're talking about this, because I feel that some people will see, things on the internet, Instagram and YouTube, and think, oh my gosh, they're just making so much money. And I think, well, hold on. Because Outschool takes 30%, and then the government takes, 25 to 30% of what you take home. So if every $100 I make after Outschool and the state of Ohio and the United States, I will take home $55 of every $100 I make.
My husband reminds me of that when I'll go, oh my gosh, look how much money I made with Outschool this week, or, and he'll be like, and how much is the government taking from that? I go, don't burst my bubble, okay? Don't burst my bubble and do that. Well, I think it's terrific that you are able to, still teach your full-time job. It's not overwhelming you with the hours, and still making that great income.
It did take time, like we said. It wasn't like I woke up one day and put 6 classes together and they all sold out. I've been having those 6 classes since October. And there are some weeks where my enrollment will go from 8 kids down to 3, particularly around holidays. Spring break just happened. So one of my Thursday classes, which always had 10 kids, maxed at 10, great music class, great kids, that went down to 3. And I thought, oh, well, I'm just here to watch. Like, I just want to see the trends. And then 2 weeks later, it was back up to 8, and it's just kind of sat steady at 8.
And that was a question that I just saw today when I was looking through the Outschool Teacher Village Facebook group. One of the ladies said her classes have dropped. And, I said, Outschool is a cyclical business, just like a lot of other businesses. And there are a lot of things going on right now. Kids are getting to go back to school. They are getting to start to play sports again. They are getting ready. I mean, most kids, they don't want to be taking extra classes right before school's getting out. So there are a lot of different things. So, she was really afraid. And I said, you just need to be spending this time preparing for summer and upping your game some. So get ready for that. But I'm glad to hear that other teachers are seeing that as well.
Oh, yes.
So the ups and the downs. And I think so going full time, if you were thinking about doing this full time, you really have to plan for the ups and downs, and not a consistent income across the board the entire time.
Yes.
And kind of playing around with that.
Those that do it full time, I tell them to have like the videos you can have. I tell them to have those. A lot of them will go and try to put them on like Pinterest or YouTube. So if somebody finds it organically, they have like the links to the classes and exactly what you said. I also tell them to have 6 to 12 months of expenses in case something happens. Like we said, we are not, are you financial? You said you had a bit. Okay, good. I was like, I want to say
business, but I'm not a financial person in that.
No. I hire someone for that because I don't know. And my mother's an accountant too. So I would walk home and I'd be like, Mom, I'm not home. I'd go to her home and be like, Mom, look at all this that I'm getting on Outschool. And she's like, invest it, put it on your mortgage. You'll thank me later. I'm like, okay. Oh, okay.
And if you haven't
Oh.
watched Kristen either, if your financial literacy, maybe it's because you do have a mother that's an accountant too.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you did one whole month on your Instagram where it was like a no spend month. So she's got some great ideas. I mean, she really, no spend. That would be a really hard.
I did a no spend month because I wanted, for some reason, somebody triggered me by saying, like, I told them I needed to buy a new car because my old car was 10 years old. It didn't have heat. It like it was just very messed up. It needed to be replaced. And somebody was like, oh, well, you're going to be paying a new car off for a while. You're a teacher, right? And I was like, I'm going to go pay that car in cash. And then I'm going to tell that girl in the teacher in the drop off line at school that's my brand new Honda CRV. And then I'm going to wait till she asks me my payment. But that was the driving force. And I did not do that. If anyone's wondering, we just took out a line of credit to help build our credit to, again, get ready for home buying. But yes, I did. I did a lot of frugal living, minimal living, because before teaching, I was an actor. So I didn't know when my next, full-time job was. And then I got into the Actors Union, and that helps a lot because that gives you health care, even though it doesn't happen right now because Broadway is shut down. But yes, I do a lot of stuff. I used to have a full YouTube channel on minimalism and saving money, and I documented buying this house as a single homeowner because I was by myself when I bought this place. And the lady at Chase Bank asked me if I was really co-signing by myself, if I wanted my dad, and I was like a 28-year-old ready to sign my mortgage. It was really weird.
Gosh.
I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, but no, that's just awesome to do. So in the summer, how many hours will you think you will teach?
Oh.
Or what? You know.
I do. I'm actually pulling it up. I told Paige when we started our chat that I have a video coming out this. Can I do shameless plug on it, Paige?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
I have a video coming out, and the link to my channel is in her description box. So after you give her video a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed to her video, go down to the link. Tuesday, I have a whole vlog showcasing how I got ready for my classes. And I'll give a preview here if I don't knock my own microphone over. I used Google Calendar to do like a blueprint outline of what I wanted. Because if I went on to Outschool and put it all together, I'd have to delete classes. Parents would be like, wait, I thought I saw that available. Now it's not here. I went to Google Classroom, Google Classroom. I went to Google Calendar and I just blocked. I said, okay, I want to teach 1 to 4, Monday, Wednesday, 10 to 2, Tuesday, Thursday. And I want to have the ability to take Friday off if I want. So either like one-time classes meet on Friday, or it's the last day of a camp or something I could just easily do. And then from that outline, I kind of put the pieces together. I went and researched my past classes. I know from looking at my outline, I want to say it's between 15 and 18 hours a week, give or take. And I did make sure I took time off because we talked about mental health.
Yes.
Definitely taking 2 weeks off in June. I don't know if kids take a lot of classes early June. Did you teach on Outschool, like right when school let out last year?
My summer was different than most because I was in the process of moving last summer. And I think a lot of kids did take classes because they didn't have anything else to do. So, but I think we're going to see different. I mean, certainly we'll see a little bit different, but kids get out of school at a different time. Some kids are getting out in May. I don't know if parents will jump right into classes. So again, I think it's just going to be a learning curve for us.
It is 15 hours a week if I continue Fridays, and it's between 11 and 12 the weeks I take Friday off. But I did it in such a way where if I take Friday off, that means I don't teach those camps that are also Monday to Friday. So just easier to say 15. Make it easy. I also made sure I took some Fridays. I also gave myself a lunch break when I teach 10 o'clock a.m. So you'll all see it in that vlog if you're able to catch it.
I wish I would have seen your video before I did mine.
I set all of mine up and then realized, like, wait a minute, you have a couple conflicts that you need to go back and have to erase like 45 one-time classes because you had like a blip on the radar of your own personal calendar. That was such a pain, but I did it. I didn't put it in the vlog, so I was like, they do not need to watch that. But I mean, I showed how long I shared in the video. Like, I did work about an hour to 2 hours Monday through Thursday. So about 8 hours just getting the schedule, making sure I double checked, my honeymoon dates and dates that I had other obligations, traveling. I will be speaking at a Google conference for people studying like online education for data analytics. I'll be going actually not to just represent Outschool, but just online education. And I got this gig because a student took one of my tech classes and their parent is a data analyst for Google. So I got a message after class that said, hey, we're not sure if this is going to be in person or online, but you're one of my kids' favorite teachers here. I know you also teach Brick and Mortar. Would you be able to give any insight in speaking at one of our conferences for education? I was like, okay, cool. So they just took my information. I have no idea what will happen with that. I know it's in July, so maybe that'll be another video. I have no idea.
You'll definitely have to share. That would be very interesting. The analytical part of it.
I would love to. I would love it if they're like, all right, Kristen, you're doing this for Google. So here's your first class plane ticket. Yes. I just dream that Google is an endless flow of money. I don't know if they are. I just assume they are because they kind of take over the world with Apple.
Oh, yeah, they definitely do. So if you haven't gotten your summer classes out yet, definitely work on those. And I would suggest, so it comes out when? Tomorrow?
The video comes out on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It's actually uploading right now on the other computer. Okay. I said it because I was like, it's a 20-minute vlog. I really get into it. And I put a bunch of examples and I actually show like the Google Calendar. But Paige, how many hours are you going to teach this summer?
That is a good question because I didn't actually add it up. I made the schedule, but I didn't add it up. And I will tell you how I did mine a little bit. I started with an income goal. So I started with the daily goal of how much I wanted to make.
Okay.
And I pretended that they all filled. And then I pretended that they were half. And so that's kind of how I went about mine. So it wasn't necessarily about how many hours I was teaching. It was trying to meet this income goal per day, per week. So that was really how I went about mine. I am trying to keep mine mostly in the morning hours. I did take Fridays off like you. I will do some one-time classes if I see like, I'm not going to have anything that day. Let me go ahead and, schedule something. And took most of the weekends off too. So.
Yes. The month of February as a teacher, we had so many days off because we were all getting vaccinated. And if anybody else watching this is also a school teacher, public or private school, you probably all relate in the fact that no one wants to substitute teach for us. No one. No, they're like, pandemic, chill. No. So my school just said, hey, when the teachers go get vaccinated, we are giving them that Friday and that Monday because we cannot afford that many teachers out. Like they would be in a lot of trouble just without having adults. So I put that all in my calendar and I put a lot of classes I knew would do well in like a one-time setting in February, thinking, hey, I'm going to be home anyway. And I don't know if you relate to this, but having just one class on the schedule kind of gets me up and moving in the day because I have that obligation to the kids.
Oh, absolutely. I think that definitely does. So I was excited when I finally got it done. I'm excited I did add 2 classes. So I have 2 brand new classes. I tell a lot of people this. I'm pretty sure I have adult ADD. So I get bored teaching the same classes. So I like to switch it up some. And so I've added a couple new ones on there. And as a teacher, I like the curriculum part of it. I like developing the new classes and going from there. Well, I hope that you have excellent. Well, first of all, I want to say I hope you get to take your honeymoon to Hawaii. Although the Grand Canyon is beautiful, I hope you get to go to Hawaii. That sounds really, really awesome. And I can't imagine having to have waited 18 months, you said, to take a honeymoon.
we were supposed to take it in June of 2020. Because the pandemic, the resort we were staying at just took our exact trip and put it back 1 calendar year. And if we can't go, they'll put it back another year. But fingers crossed.
Oh my goodness.
Everybody put a thumbs up on our video. It'll up the chances that I get to go on my honeymoon.
Yes, that sounds awesome. That sounds great. I will, before I let you go, because I do want to wind us up. I told Kristen I wanted this to be 30 minutes, and here we are at an hour. Ron said he's also a brick and mortar teacher. Was it difficult to adjust from a physical classroom to teaching online? I think if you're teaching through the pandemic, probably not, because everybody had to do it. What would you say?
I was already used to teach. What you said really is I had to go online March of 2020. So I was already kind of used to the grueling, like waiting to see if kids would show up. We'd have to record ourselves even if they didn't. So by the time I got to Outschool, I was kind of already used to being on Zoom. But now that I do longer stretches of Outschool classes, it can be a little bit of a shock, especially after a full day of school. Like I come home on Thursday and I'm like,
oh, yeah,
you better go get that coffee. You've got 90 minutes with these kids. And some of the classes I'm on the piano and sometimes I'm on my voiceover mic. So I have to set everything up. But yes, it can be daunting at first. Just know your limits and try to avoid your burnout as much as possible.
Yes, I agree with that. The burnout. I mean, I typically teach right now still Monday through Thursday on Outschool, and I don't teach on Fridays. And it is nice. It is really nice to be able to have that opportunity to not teach for 3 days. It gives you definitely a sense of relief. And then when Monday comes around tomorrow, I'm excited to do it again. I get really excited about it. I will say, I was going to read this one if you didn't read it real quick. So Stephanie says her kids usually get out in May, but due to COVID, they are not getting out till June 17th. Then we have 3 weeks vacay, so they will not be taking Outschool classes till mid-July. So I think we're going to see a lot. I try and remind people too that it is a worldwide platform. And for instance,
absolutely.
When our kids are out of school in the summer, Australian kids are still in because now it's their winter. So just trying to realize that it reaches a lot of kids.
And some kids are taking year-round school. I did not know this. I took one of my one-time classes and I had so many parents in Korea asking to take it, but in the time difference, I taught it at 9 p.m. and I think it was like 10 a.m. their time. And they were telling me, by the way, they all had wonderful English. They were so well-mannered, so focused. And they told me that a lot of their schools are doing year-round. I don't know if it's something new because of the pandemic or how it's always been, but there will always be kids. I even taught kids on a spring break on the beach, which the camera was in the sun on there and it did not look good. But they took their class and their little brother built a sandbox in the back. And I was like, you guys make it work. And this is great.
It's important to them.
Did you get all your questions, Paige? I think so.
I think so. And thank you guys for commenting and sharing and answering each other's questions too. So like Kristen said, if you haven't done your summer schedule yet, or if you have, and next year you'll want to know exactly how Kristen did it. So look for that video. So go find her and subscribe as well. And
I'll put the link in the chat.
Oh, yeah, that would be great. Go ahead and do that.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you. It was so nice to, I kind of feel like I just met one of my celebrity followers, So
I'm only a celebrity in the elementary school buildings.
Oh, no. You have taught a lot of people and touched a lot of people. So give yourself a big pat on the back, because I know a lot of people enjoy watching what you have to share. So, well, have a great evening. Goodbye, guys. Oh, good. So Anastasia's going to finish her summer schedule. Good job.
Do it, because you'll get people signing up in August.
Yes. All righty. Bye, everybody.